What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, and we've got some breaking news for you this Friday afternoon regarding Alejandro Garnacho. It's been a busy afternoon regarding Garnacho news. Not only is he back in training, not only according to Erik ten Hag is he not going to the Under-20 World Cup, but he has officially put pen to paper on a new 5-year contract at Manchester United, extending his stay at the club until 2028. The news was just announced about 5 minutes or so at the time of me recording this. Indeed, quite surprising considering Garnacho was kind of on the lips of people, discussing not only what his future was going to be, but I think more like immediate future, i.e. in the next few weeks, the next few months, because of this whole FIFA Under-20 World Cup saga involving will he go with the Argentina Under-20 squad, won't he? Delegates from Argentina and the Argentinian Football Association coming over to Manchester to try and persuade or convince Manchester United to release him and let him go. And Ten Hag in his press conference after the game against Spurs last night basically said no. We'll get into that in just a second. And then about half an hour later, after those quotes came out, it was officially announced Alejandro Garnacho has put pen to paper. He has signed a new Manchester United contract. He is going to be staying until 2028. Viva Garnacho! Garnacho has signed a new contract. Manchester United released the following press release, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, saying, quote, Manchester United is pleased to announce that Alejandro Garnacho has signed a new contract that will extend his stay at the club until the 30th of June 2028. The academy graduate has already made 31 appearances for the senior team at the age of just 18. Garnacho said, quote, when I joined this incredible club, I dreamt of achieving my debut, playing at Old Trafford, scoring my first goal and winning trophies with this badge on my chest. I feel very proud and emotional to have experienced these moments already, together with my family who have supported me every step of the way. We are all humbled to have this chance to continue our journey at Manchester United, and I have already begun to work on achieving the next set of targets and ambitions. The manager and his coaching staff have helped me to improve in every way, and with their support, I am developing each day to help the team be successful. I am relishing the future and can't wait to create more special memories with this group in front of our amazing supporters. John Murtough, Manchester United football director, said, quote, Alejandro has really dedicated himself to achieving the objectives that the club set out for him since he arrived in Manchester. His talent, drive and determination to succeed saw him quickly progress from our academy into the first team, and this new long-term contract reflects our confidence in him to continue his exciting development under the guidance of Erik and his staff. Alejandro has huge potential, and we are all looking forward to working with him to ensure he can fulfill his ambitions here at Manchester United in the coming years. Now, as I mentioned, he was kind of on the lips of people this afternoon because Erik ten Hag's comments after the disappointing draw against Spurs last night have since been released. Now, sometimes the day after a game when we play on Thursday, sometimes there's a press conference that takes place actually on the Friday. Sometimes they say, you know what, it's late, we'll just do the press conference for the next game here and now. That's what they did, and one of the questions was put to Ten Hag about Alejandro Garnacho, about his more immediate future as opposed to his long-term future, and that's because Garnacho had been provisionally selected for the Argentina Under-20 World Cup squad. Now, you might say, well, why does that matter? The reason it matters is because the actual World Cup tournament itself takes place across May and the beginning of June. Of course, Manchester United have got several important games occurring through that period of time at the end of the season, namely the FA Cup final, which takes place at the start of June as well. So Garnacho not only would miss the end of the season in the Premier League for United, he would also miss this FA Cup final, the first ever Manchester Derby FA Cup final against Manchester City at Wembley. So there's been a big reluctance, to put it mildly, from United saying, we're not releasing him. He can't go. He's too important. He's in the senior team here at United, and we're going to need him for these important games and for a cup final. And there had been reports of Javier Mascherano flying out to Manchester to try and talk to Ten Hag. I mean, talk about sending the worst person, by the way. Mascherano, Liverpool's Mascherano, Barcelona's Mascherano. No, thank you. You might as well have not got on the plane to try and convince a Manchester United official to let go Garnacho to this World Cup. So that didn't happen. And Ten Hag was asked about this in the press conference, as I mentioned. He said, quote, no, we don't release him. He will return tomorrow in team training, that being today, partially. Then we will have to see when he can return totally in the training and back into our game. So not only is Garnacho back in training now, he's also got a new contract to boot. And this had been something that was widely reported to be coming over time. I mean, for the last gosh, what, 3 months? Something like that, I think. Maybe I'm over sort of stepping the mark on that. But for a while, it's been widely reported that this deal is essentially done. Image rights, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, that kind of thing. But it was near enough done. Garnacho was going to be sticking around, and United were very happy with him, and he was very happy to stay at United, which, to be honest, it's a big get. I mean, when you've got a player who's that young, 18, and has had the season that he has had at United. I mean, there is no doubting this guy's potential, this kid's potential, and what he can develop into. I'm such a huge fan of his, and I really do think, I know we have to be careful about overhyping players and overgassing players. We've done it for years with youngsters that come through the academy, but in my opinion, Garnacho is the real deal. The moxie that he shows at this age, and to be honest, the impact he's had on this United side at this age. This guy is not a flash in the pan. I really, truly believe that. And he is just going to get better and better and better as long as he keeps his head on straight, as long as he stays focused, as long as he has good people around him. I'm convinced he can improve, and I really do think he can hit the highest level at United and really achieve big things at the club. I really do believe that. I mean, people talk about future number 7s and what have you, and I think he could be that. I really, really do. I mean, we know he idolizes Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'm sure he probably is eyeing up that number 7 shirt for the future. Not now, of course, but certainly in the future. Why not? He can make himself into anything he wants to be. I truly believe he's just that talented. And to go from where he was at last season. I remember watching him in the FA Cup U final against Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford. I did watch a long stream for that, and in a game which is largely, it's a group of kids playing, and you can really tell the difference between men's football and youth football just by the stature, the size, the physicality of some of the players, and some of the players that aren't really fully developed yet, even physically, they just kind of get beaten out of that game. But Garnacho, who again was still really slight then, and he is still really slight now, but he was even smaller then, stood out, and he got a couple of goals, and he was the spark. He was a level above everyone else on the pitch, and to see how much he's developed already in 12 months' time is incredible. And to think that he was on the tour for Australia and Thailand last year, but he didn't participate in any of the games. And so really, he's only really come into the team in late September, October time, and really just exploded to life, hasn't he? And I think, again, that's a credit to his talent. And going back to my point when I say it's a bit of it's a big win for United, because a young kid coming to the end of his contract, I'm sure of it, that there were multiple clubs lining up, big clubs around Europe, all taking a look at Garnacho and saying, we'll take you. Yeah, I really truly think the likes of Real Madrid or Barcelona or clubs in Italy, whether it be whoever, Juventus or any of the Milans, or who, I think they ought have taken him. And you have to remember too that we got Garnacho from Atletico Madrid's academy as he came into ours. So I'm sure that there would have been Spanish clubs, sniffing around and taking an interest, a really keen interest. So for United to tie the talent down, I think is a really big deal. And 2028, 5-year deal. That's what we should be doing. People criticize our deal making and the contracts we've given out over the years, and justifiably so. But that's what you want to be doing. You want to be tying down, your young up and coming players to 5-year contracts. Now, we don't have any information as of right now at the time of recording this, any reports or anything that suggests how much the wage would be, and obviously that's going to be what people are asking about, and justifiably so. You don't want to give too much too soon, and I think that's why this whole negotiation period has been somewhat prolonged, because Ten Hag's not naive. He's put this out there, and it's been widely reported that he wants to get a stranglehold on the wages at United, and again, not give too much too soon. There still has to be an incentive for Garnacho to go and achieve more. It's very difficult with young players nowadays of not giving them too much money too soon, and then they can just fall off the edge of a cliff. I mean, we've seen very talented players get big contracts and then drop off. Dele Alli's a great example of that at Spurs, and then Everton and Besiktas, and now he's back at Everton, I think, and who knows what his future is going to look like. So you always want to be careful of those kind of situations, obviously, but at the same time, you want to secure your best up and coming and talented players. And I think Garnacho, in a season that we've criticised the likes of, Jadon Sancho, I would argue Garnacho has been far more of an effective player than Jadon Sancho this season, and far more of a dynamic player. We talk about what we want someone like Jadon Sancho to do. Garnacho does that. He runs at people, and he's still very raw. He can improve on his composure and his finishing, and and what have you, but I think he's a tremendous talent. I really do. And I think that, we've gone through weird points this season where people tried to criticize him for his attitude because he wasn't happy that he came off, or he had a bad attitude because when he came off, he looked disappointed. And then at the time, I thought that was nonsensical, honestly. And Ten Hag was asked about it in the press conference, and he was like, why would you want me to change that from him? I want him to be unhappy when he comes off. I think the biggest thing for him, and it was clear to see, is that and it was because it was in a game where he started and he missed a couple of chances, missed a couple of one-on-ones, and he got in behind a couple of times and the keeper saved it, or maybe he should have done better. And people were trying to say, that's the inexperience. Well, wait a minute. We saw last night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, much more experienced players missed chances that were just as glaring. So it can happen. My biggest concern would be with Garnacho if he wasn't getting in those positions. My biggest concern for Garnacho would be that if he didn't care that he was coming off and he just took it and accepted it. This guy wants to achieve things. He gets in the right positions. He's getting better and better and better. And make no mistake, having him back for the more immediate future for these upcoming games is going to be really important. And last night would have been a perfect example of that. We spoke about needing some energy and some pace off the bench and, offering something different to the game. I think Garnacho could have offered that. Wouldn't have solved the midfield issues that we had. The midfield was completely absent, but he's got a massive future at United, no doubt about it. So I think it's a real good bit of business for United. And look, it's probably going to be the first of several announcements, really, as well, isn't it going to be? We're going to have several announcements regarding, we've already had one with Luke Shaw this year, Garnacho as well. You would think Marcus Rashford would be coming next, Diogo Dalot too, David De Gea. So expect more videos like these, I guess. Expect more videos discussing people signing new contracts. Expect more videos discussing players that are going to be sticking around. And Garnacho is just the latest name. So there you go, guys. A bit of a short video for you, just giving you the developing and breaking news regarding Alejandro Garnacho signing a brand new Manchester United contract, 5-year deal until 2028. Of course, I'm going to be live later today when the official bids come in for round 3, the third and final round of the Takeover saga. We are expecting I'm hearing world record bids for Manchester United from Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani, as well as Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos. Now, we don't know when they're going to come in. The deadline is around 10 p.m. I will stop with the Carve impression for now, but I will be live later on as they come in to see if we have any press releases, any more information, and hopefully some more clarification of where we're going in terms of our new ownership. But the latest developing news now is that Alejandro Garnacho has signed a new 5-year contract. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and stay tuned. I feel like this is going to be a big weekend for Manchester United. I'll speak to you again very, 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 very soon. Peace.